So now, people, we have got Compulsion, right? This is the brand new film from Neil Marshall, right? Neil wrote and directed the film. It is produced by Christina Selnervova. Okay, then it's executive produced by Lyndon Baldock, Michael Bazik, Emily Corcoran, John Dean, Charles Dorfman, Jason Gervitz, Michael London, Jan Pace, Bob Portal, Seth Schuyler, Marlon Vogelgesken, J.D. Zacharias, Neil Marshall, and Charlotte Kirk. We have co-production from Andre Logenberg and line production from Lathium Grunmere. On the score, we have Paul Lawler. Cinematography is Ali Assad. Katrina Delbridge edits the piece. Right? All the great casting was Brenda Calimeri. Production design is Dysol. The great wardrobe costumes, we have Giulia Gorietti, Amanda Agias, Kirsty Colliero, Kim DeGura, Panso Condelayas, Stefania Pivavasan, Mirko van der Don, and Christina Zamet are on hair and makeup. Okay. We then have got Morgan Chetui, Chuck O'Neill, Audrey Chetui, Audric Plum, Federica Del Felice, Alina Tomasova, Victor Aquilani, Axel Raphael, and Kyle Blanco taking care of all the stunts, right? The stunts and the fights and all of that. So, in the film, right? Detective Claudia Cavara is played by Giulia Gorietti. Her dad, Chief Mario Cava, is played by Michael Basmadina. Giulia's partner, Inspector Dennis Crawford, is played by Harvey Dean. So we then have got Evie Koroslaka, played by Anna Maria Sieklucka. We have got... I don't think her parents are listed. No, her parents aren't listed. But, okay, so then we got Diana Shaw, right, who is played by Charlotte Kirk. There is Reese, played by Zach McGowan. Christian Tessari, played by Aidan Aquilina. Is Melania, played by Emily Corcoran. Mason Oswald. Oh, that's actually Yeah, Mason is Evie's stepdad. He is played by Antony Edridge. Oh, I think Melina's her mum. My bad. Yeah, Melina's her mum. So her parents weren't named. Okay, Fabio is played by Joe Tanti. We've got Madame Carmelina, played by Cinza Monreal. Gianni Salvo, played by Matteo Calunabond. The Chief Inspector's secretary is played by Antonelia Axia. Another of the police officers is played by Glenn Chiantar. Okidoki. The forensic technician is played by Rebecca Dimish. Another one of the officers is played by Yannick Barbara. We got the duty nurse played by Kelly Peplow. One of the masquerade dancers played by Awa Abdullah. And some of the masquerade guests played by Marcelo Ribico Castillo, Vanessa Boghella, Ruben Paldo Castro, and Sarah Costo. So, that is that, right? Now, what is the film about, you may ask? A young woman's visit to her stepfather's villa spirals into danger when she's targeted by con artists, and a violent murder forces her into a deadly cover-up. As a local detective closes in, trust cracks and dark secrets are exposed. Whoo, boy, right? Oh boy, that's what this film is. So we do have a director's statement from Neil Marshall. And that reads, Compulsion is the fourth and final feature film collaboration between myself and Charlotte Kirk. Following the critically acclaimed The Reckoning, which I believe we looked at on episode 142, right? The Reckoning, winner of countless awards, sci-fi action horror, The Lair, and crime thriller Duchess, in part paying homage to the master of suspense Alfred Hitchcock and his films such as Rear Window, Vertigo, and Psycho. Compulsion is also a throwback to the now classic erotic thrillers of the 80s and 90s, such as Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct, and Single White Female, as well as being a very deliberate ode to the Giallo genre of thrillers that emerged from Italy in the late 60s and flourished in the 70s and 80s, that always featured a killer's wearing black leather gloves and wielding a razor blade. I've always been a big fan of these three subgenres. Let's face it, Hitchcock is a genre unto himself. And I've always felt that desire and death have often been close bed partners, especially in the movies. Even the title of the film drew inspiration from such as Suspicion, Repulsion, Possession, even Inception, etc. And the huge success of the sexually charged 365 Days and its two sequels on Netflix has proved there is a big audience out there for this kind of adult-orientated psychological suspense thriller. Since I'm always interested in exploring new genres and the worlds and the character who inhabit them, and with a lack of this kind of film out there, this genre seemed ripe for the picking. And Neil definitely does explore that, right? Like, I had no clue what this was going to be. You know, Susan hit me up and I was like, yes, of course, I'm going to check it out. So it was just really interesting seeing how this unfolded, right? We start off with a murder, and you know, it's at night, you have someone scaling a wall. So we hear just all the noises, right? The breathing, like the climbing, all of the ambient sounds help bring the scene to life, right? And we get that throughout the film, right? Like the sound is a really great part of this film. So that is good. But just the scene, right? This opening, like, crime scene, the lighting of it, you know what I mean? Like, we've got someone in the shadows, and then there's just like the bathroom light and like the reflection of the shower mirror, and just all of these things like really pop that scene. And it's such a contrast to then, you know, like our next sort of scenes, because we have Evie getting in a taxi and driving, right? And it's bright, right? You see the sea and there's everything through the car windows, you know what I mean? She's on this fantastic island, and it's just, you know, it speaks to that, right? Like where she's staying, her stepfather's villa is stunning, right? It's really nice. And then just the gardens and a neighbor and the pool and just all of these things, right? Very bright, very vibrant. And that's what it is. And then we have the contrast of some of our night scenes, which are very well done, right? So there's a bar scene. What we have is a great club scene. And people, you know my feeling of club scenes, right? Long time it doesn't feel like it is that. You know, we have our characters like, we're going to a busy club. Oh man, it's banging in here. And you're just like, it looks like it's empty. Like, there's no way someone's walking into an empty club and being like, oh, it's banging in here, right? That's just foolishness. But this, man, you really believed we were in this club, just everyone, right? Like, were in the right get-ups, you know what I mean? Just the way the camera moved and showed you different things and people, it just drew you in. Right? It wasn't, you don't even need the dance, right? Even before the dance happens, you are drawn into this scene. It's just great. It was really well done. And then everything that happens in that club, just, whoo, people, like this film, man, it keeps you on your toes. It really does. Because, as I said, I had no clue what this was coming in. And when you first start watching, right, you know, you always try and go, okay, who's the killer, right? You're trying to work that out. And we are, you know, taken in several different directions, right? But then something else might happen and you're like, hold on. Okay, if that happened, then it can't have been that person I thought it was. Can't be that person. Who is, oh, it's this, but, oh, but it can't be that. And so you're just constantly just, you know what I mean? Just on the edge of your seat thinking, what's going on? You know what I mean? How did this all go? Oh, man. And, you know what I mean? Like, that aspect of it is really well done. Really well done. We get like these different breadcrumbs dropped about one of our characters. And so the more things that we find out, the more you kind of understand how they have gotten to where they are. You know what I mean? And like, just the games that are played. Whew. You know, you're just like, well, how is that going to get done? Oh, well, I mean, I can see how they could do that, but not that bit. That's very, So it is just, this is just really, really well done. We get great performances, you know. I mean, just everyone involved does a great job, right? Evie, played by Anna Maria, is very good, right? The chemistry that she has with Charlotte Kirk's Diana is fantastic, right? The interactions with Reese, and then, you know, like, what's that? Francisco, like the taxi driver, and just all these other people, like you're buying into all of this, right? It just works. The language works, right? Just all of this, and it's an erotic thriller for sure. But I will say, it's not like overly gratuitous. Like, a lot of the scenes make sense in what they're showing you, and how it's shot is really nicely done. You know what I mean? Like, it's scenes that make you believe in, as I say, and it's in another aspect, right? It make you believe in the relationships between certain characters, right? And help you see motives and other things like that, right? So, yeah, it's not just there for sensation. It's there to further the story. And the story, I didn't even mention this one, people. So the story, Neil Marshall, he wrote it, but he conceived the story with Charlotte, you know, like together they worked out what this would be, you know what I mean, like all of that. And it is a good story. You know what I mean? Like, this doesn't work if the story is weak. And, you know, it's a story that does have you, I think, just transfixed, right? You're interested. You want to know, how is this all going to play out, right? Where do our characters go? What is their story arc? How can it end for any of these people? You know, and we're given that. And costumes, wardrobe, that works as well too, right? You believe in what people are wearing, the masquerade ball, right? Very well done. So just all the components work here, people. Everything works really well. And I thoroughly enjoyed Compulsion, right? I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? Like, as I said, we've watched Neil Marshall's films. So there is definitely Neil's style here. But sometimes, you know, not everything is going to hit. But I will say, I think this one definitely does hit. So, this drops on the, I believe it's the 19th. I think in the States, it's going to be in some cinemas, you know, otherwise digital, right? So, people, I think it is, as Neil mentioned in his statement, I think if you enjoyed things like Fatal Attraction, Basic Instinct, Single White Female, then I think you will enjoy Compulsion, right? So, yeah, go check it out. If you like The Reckoning, which Neil directed and Charlotte was in, I think she wrote or co-wrote that as well. But yeah, if you like their work on that, Duchess or The Lair, you will enjoy Compulsion. So yeah, people, go check it out and let me know, what did you think, right? How did this play out for you? All right, people, Compulsion.